Welcome to the Seer Show. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of health, wellness, mindset, and fitness with the unparalleled guidance of lifelong knowledge seekers, Sifu Rafael and Nikki Gangemi. Sifu and Nikki will unlock groundbreaking insights with extraordinary guests from around the globe. You'll get the latest holistic approaches to well-being with a sharp focus on the powerful connection between mind, body, and soul. Get ready to take the leap. It's time to embrace a brighter and healthier future with us at the Seer Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Nikki. How are you today?
Good morning, Sifu. I am excellent. And how are you this fine morning?
I am exceptional and getting better every day.
Yes, you are. That's the only way to do it, right? To get better every day.
Yeah, I like the guy I was yesterday, but I need to improve. So therefore, I need to get better. So I'm super excited for today because what a great topic we're going to be speaking on, and what great guests to be helping us on this incredible topic. I got to tell you, Nikki, I am super excited. How are you?
Same. Very excited. I love both of these guests that we're going to have on.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's not waste any time. Let's bring them on. So Brandon and Jeff, gentlemen, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Great morning. Wonderful morning.
Morning. It is a good morning.
And Jeff is coming to us 3 hours different because he's in California. So Jeff, what time is it for you over there?
Right now it's 6:02 a.m.
Look at that.
I couldn't think of a better way to invest my morning in than the Seer Show and these wonderful individuals.
Oh my goodness. Great. Love it, love it, love it. So today's topic is, we're going to start with, there's 3 words that we came up with for today's topic. One is conceive. Who wants to take that? And that word is such a powerful word, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally all ears.
I'm going to send it over to Jeff.
Well, thank you, Nikki. The first word is conceive, and if I may, Sifu, the next word is believe, and the next word is achieve.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, these 3 words are a credo that I've lived by basically my entire life. And about 10 years ago, when I started my 6th business, that is the name of the business: conceive, believe, achieve. And it's as simple as that. If you make a conscious decision, you can do it. That's a conceive. But it doesn't happen automatically. There are steps. You understand what you want. And as I teach, it's a life by design. So if you design the process, the procedures, the actions, the tools, and you believe what you're doing, achieve is as simple as can be. When you think about it, most people, including the people on this call, have been on an airplane. And an airplane is up 30,000 feet in the air, and it doesn't crash. Think about cruise ships. Tons and tons of people and food and equipment. It doesn't sink. So one time, who thought of that? Who thought of that, have process, procedures, and do it? And you can do that in business, in life, anything you want. But it starts with, as you said, Sifu, conceive. You have to have that passion. And if you have that passion, there's nothing that can stop you from achieving what you want.
You made me think of 2 things, right? An airplane is bigger than a 18-wheeler, and a cruise ship sometimes is bigger than a hotel. and heavier than a hotel. So it's pretty incredible that these things were conceived and the belief had to be there. And then
Hey,
in order for it to happen, a game plan had to come through.
Yeah.
we all drive cars, but at one time that didn't exist. There were horses. So when you look at these kind of big things that we take for granted, imagine what you can do if you truly think about it. If you get that plan together, there's nothing that we can't achieve. It may not happen in a week, a day, a month, a year, a decade. But if that passion is there and you find people who play at what you work at, it's going to happen. And for this old man, a lot has happened in my 60 plus years.
Were you pointing behind you? Because I didn't see an old man in front of me. There must be somebody in the background saying that old man. But I see a young, vibrant human being who understands the value of all we're talking about. Somebody who has created businesses after businesses, who used to live in my neighborhood and now is across the country. And you continue to conceive, you continue to believe, and you continue to achieve. So congratulations, young man.
Well, thank you, Sifu. If I may also say, look, we're all living life. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Life is for living. So do what you want to do because you can.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I love the dress rehearsal analogy.
Yeah,
This
you know,
is fun.
when you said conceive, I actually had to look that word up because I always thought of conceive like having a kid. And so conceive in business is basically the formation of an idea, if I understand it right. Yeah, and one of the best piece of advice I got, this was actually 10 years ago, in 2016. I was just out of college, and this guy, Ty Lopez, he came up with this program called the 67 Steps to Getting What You Want or something like that. And each step, he gave a concept from someone very successful. And one of the concepts, one of the days, he talked about taking time to think. He said one of the most valuable things that you could ever do in your life is to take time to think. He said it's okay if you don't totally know what you want. It's okay if you don't have full clarity. It's okay if you see someone who has something that you want and you're like, man, it would be nice to be there, but I'm a disgrace because I'm not. He's like, it's okay if you're not there. But he said one of the best things that you can ever do is to go into a different environment with minimal sound and minimal people and just sit there with no other intention except for to just see where your thoughts go. And so I started doing that. And I started doing that. A couple years into it, one time I was sitting at the beach and I was just sitting there looking at the water, and I drew a heart in the sand because I was like, what does everybody need? I said, everybody needs a warm heart. And I drew a heart with a smiley face and then a muscle on one side and a mic in the other hand. And my original vision was warm heart, fitness, and entertainment because I was like, everybody needs to feel good. Everybody needs people that they can grow with. And that eventually the next year turned into splitting up the two ideas and forming the personal development side of Warm Heart, which is my main business, Warm Heart Life. And that idea would have never happened. It would have never been conceived if I didn't go into a random environment with minimal people and minimal sound and just let my thoughts go to wherever they went. So that I love that word now.
So, Brandon, I have to call out brilliance when I hear it. And what you just shared is sheer brilliance. You know, we're in 2026, and a lot of people have goal setting. First of all, you don't want to have goal setting, you have goal achieving. And the advice I always give, never, ever, ever set your goals in a familiar environment. Why? Because you're limited to what you did in the past. You're limited to what's around you. So if you go to a place that's unfamiliar, a beach, as Brandon did, a hotel, a park, even a coffee shop that you've been to, you're going to be allowed to receive all that information. And the idea, let me get another analogy about it's good to be unfamiliar versus familiarity, uncomfortable before you get comfortable. Everybody here has at one time bought a new pair of shoes. You bought a new pair of shoes because your old shoes, which were very comfortable, were worn out. So those new shoes all of a sudden were uncomfortable until they became comfortable. So if you put yourself in an environment that is new, that is not living in the boundaries, that is uncomfortable, eventually you're going to find a way to get comfortable for that and conceive, believe, achieve.
So important. And it sounds so simple, right? Put yourself in a different environment that's not familiar so you can have access to new thoughts. Now we got to just get people to do it. To do the simple thing.
Do you know a little bit about thoughts, Nikki, maybe? Something at all?
Just a little. As I was thinking about the word conceive, my mind went to how it's easy for us to have an idea of something that we want to do, an outcome, a goal, a result. But then our mind goes back to conceiving what we know to be true and our past experiences. And so the real work is in bringing our attention back to what we want, cleaning up and clearing out the old stuff, because if we keep our focus there, that's what we're going to keep producing, those same results, and wonder, why am I working so hard and I'm not getting the result that I'm working toward?
Going back to design your life rather than live it by default.
Default, right.
I love what Brandon was talking about is to be able to conceive something, you need that quiet time. You need that space to be able to, excuse me, allow your mind to kind of wander, to create. And as a creator, I love creating things. And it usually happens when no one's around, or when I'm observing something. I'm in a different environment. And so even if I'm creating something that's never been seen before, it happens sometimes in my sleep. And the reason it happens in my sleep is because no one is tugging at me. But also I gave my mind instructions. I said, I need guidance. I need clarity. I need to be led for creativity. So every night when I go to sleep, besides being grateful for everything that's happened in my day, for the people in my life, I ask God for direction. How should I live my tomorrow? This is why when Nikki asked me, how am I doing? And I say exceptional and getting better every day, is because I need to believe it for me first, before I can share that with anyone. Before I say it to you or anyone else, I need to believe it. So for me to conceive it, I need to believe it, and then I need to achieve it. And it starts with being in that quiet space. Meditation is huge. I've come up with ideas when I've been painting, and it's been painting in a room by myself. I've been an idea. I own a wood shop. Oh my God, is that the best place for me to create? I build things from nothing. From a piece of lumber, I create furniture. I create things. But a lot of times, it doesn't come because I got blasting music. It comes because I'm feeling with my hands. I'm seeing, and sometimes the sound of the saw, the sound of a drill or something like that puts a thought in my head. How can I make this better? So every day I'm looking for an opportunity to create, because I know that there's something out there that I still haven't created, that I haven't touched. So a lot of people go, oh, you do so many different things. Not true. I do one thing. And that one thing is to get better at everything that I do.
Sifu, you mentioned a word that is so powerful, the environment you create. Now, in your wood shop, you have a physical environment, you have a mental environment, you have a spiritual environment. As a matter of fact, all of us have 9 separate environments, such as mental, physical, health, body, financial, network. And a goal, another exercise, very powerful exercise, is understand all of your environments. And within each environment, you got to think of 3 things in that environment that are inspiring. And in those 3 things that are expiring. These are either inspired or you're expired. And the things that are expiring, get rid of them. Again, the life by design. So you can design all the inspirations in your environment. You live in the life of your dreams.
Well, think about what Brandon talked to us about before. He was at the beach. He's watching the ocean. And in front of him was a canvas, a blank canvas. And he goes, look at this. This is a tool. I can use this to create a heart. Then he put a muscle on one side, a microphone on the other. But it was a blank canvas, and we all have that every single day. There's a blank canvas. We start in the morning and we end our night with a canvas. It's what we do or don't do that's going to create that image, that painting, that vision.
I love
that. Who feels more powerful right now, huh?
Yes.
Say that again, Jeff.
Who feels more powerful given all the information, the thought process, the tasks that we have? It's a very powerful, inspiring show.
It is. And I want to point out something important, as I don't know that everybody made this connection. What Sifu just said, how every day we have the opportunity to have a blank canvas. So we don't have to wait for January for the new year to, have a word of the year or a resolution. We don't have to wait for a special occasion, for a birthday, for some kind of a mark in time. We could choose that every day is a blank slate and we get to start again.
And when you have those days and you start, Nikki, you know this, as a matter of fact, all of us know this. Every day must be a celebration. There are going to be challenges, but I'm sure every single day there's something, no matter how small or how large. And most people are driven and they don't allow themselves to celebrate even the smallest things. Hey, right now is a wonderful celebration to be in the same room as 3 other powerful individuals. It's a true celebration.
Yes.
Love it.
It is. And you bring up another point, Jeff, about size. I mean, size doesn't matter in this case, right? Like I encounter this all the time when I work with my clients, because I always start every session with share your wins. And they're like, I don't know if I have any this week. I'm like, not possible. And then it's not possible. And then as they continue to talk, they're like, oh, there was this one thing. I had a pleasant conversation with my husband this morning. And normally, I'm in a bad mood. It's like, well, that's a win. But because they defined it, it has to look a certain way or be this size, then it gets minimized or unnoticed. So we've got to pay
what
attention.
people don't realize is that when you say that to them, they're like, I didn't have any wins this week. The question I would like to ask everybody is, did you wake up this morning? Isn't that the first win you had? Every morning, that's a win. Listen, if you can breathe, if you can raise your arms, if you can get out of bed, that's a win. Do you know how many people are stuck in a bed who've had an accident, or maybe they were born in a certain situation, they're handicapped, they can't use certain limbs, they can't move? So how are we not grateful for every little thing that we have, for the connection that I have with you guys, for everything is a win. So what are we? We're winners. And if we don't understand that, then we will always think we're losers. And I don't see any losers in front of me.
And the essence of this show, it all starts with Conceive. Realize that you are winners and create your wins. As Nikki says, every single day. It's that easy.
Yeah, can be that easy. And it starts with awareness. Maybe, you know, it's like if you've never thought of it that way, then you don't know until you do, you know, and that's why we have these types of conversations, to bring awareness.
Well, thank you for the cue, Nikki, awareness. As we spoke earlier, in school, if you got an A, that was a good grade. Now, an A+ was even better.
Mhm.
But what I teach is the A++ method. It all begins with awareness. That's the first A. You have to be aware what's going on. Once you have the awareness, you take action on that. That's good. But the most powerful A is accountability. How are you accountable to yourself, which is nirvana? Self-accountability is nirvana. And how are you accountable to others? And if that's a challenge, find people to keep you accountable. The A++ method.
I love that.
Yeah.
Accountability.
It's important.
If you think about every day, and you asked Nikki earlier, she had an accountability partner. And we did an exercise the other day on the CLA about accountability. And within 7 days, we have to be accountable to those 4 other people that were in the room with us. But I think the most important person you have to be accountable to is the person that you look at every morning when you wake up in the mirror and look in the mirror. And I'm accountable because I'm drinking from a stein. It's a big glass stein. It's look how big it is. This is a big, but it's full of water, and it has Himalayan pink salt and apple cider vinegar. So it is a healthy thing. And I do that because I'm accountable to my health. If I say that, and by the way, you're all invited to my 100th birthday party. And the reason I say that is because I don't want you to come to a hospital to have a birthday party with me. I want to have it in a fun place so we can all dance, we can all be merry, we can have fun. And a lot of people go, wow, you're going to live to be that long? I said, no, I'm going to go further, but that's a milestone that I'm going for. So in order for me to be accountable to that belief, I have to take action. I have to, this is a stein. What usually goes in a stein?
Beer.
Fear. What did I choose? I chose better.
Mm-hmm.
So because of my accountability first to me, and then when I speak it out, saying it is one thing, believing it is another. Taking action, like you talked about, Jeff, is the biggest part of that whole thing. Because I can say all these things, but if I don't believe it and I don't take the action necessary to fulfill it, I will not achieve it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I've been thinking about your second word, believe, and over the last couple months, I was inspired after the speaker mastermind with Jose. Jose said you should know your exact amount of speaking engagements, and I had a rough idea, but I didn't have an exact idea. And so for the last couple months, I've been going through my calendars, my Instagrams, my photos, my YouTube to calculate this number. And I calculated 600 speaking engagements over the last 10 years.
Wow.
It was 600 on the dot from 2016 to 2010 to 2025. And I'm looking back at all these photos, all these memories, and I'm curious. I'm like, I don't think I got paid that much in my first 5 years of speaking. And I looked at my first 5 years from 2016 to 2021. I had 139 speaking engagements, and these could be keynotes, this could be interviews, anything like that. And I didn't get paid any of them. The 139, none of them got paid. And 2 of them I got revenue from tickets because I had events, but I didn't profit off those events. And I kept thinking about, like, why did I keep going? Why did I keep going all of those years? And I think it goes back to a poem I wrote around that time, which was called Becoming Great. It's the shortest poem I've ever wrote. And it goes, I thought I was good until I saw great. It was then when I understood what achieving my dreams would take. And what that means is you could think you're really good at something, then you see someone who's the best, or they're great, they're phenomenal. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, if I could just work on that, then maybe one day I could get to there. And all of a sudden you have this spark of inspiration. You have this belief inside of you that if you do the little things, then maybe you could get there someday. And in 2018, I took a speaker school from a guy who had done speaking for over 40 years. He had taught speaking for a couple of decades. And I saw greatness. And I think seeing greatness in the beginning days, it allowed me to believe in where I could go. And I'm looking back at all these videos from the last 10 years, and I'm like, I can't believe I kept going. What was it that kept pushing me? And I think it was seeing greatness allowed me to believe that one day that I could be there. And it was a full circle moment last year when my mentor, he said, Brandon, you're better than me now. He's like, this is your time. He's like, you're better than me. Go for it. He's like, don't slow down. You're the guy now. And I was like, whoa. And it was a full circle moment. So I keep looking at that word believe, and I think you can borrow belief when you see it. And so I love the theme of this episode. It's got me thinking quite a bit.
Love that. I love that you mentioned that you can borrow belief, because we don't achieve anything without belief, right? We can actually do it. We have to believe in the process, in the method, and who we are, and even the experience of it. But a lot of times we see other people, and we assume that they got there like that, right? And they didn't get there like that. Unless somehow they won the lotto. And you know what happens with people who win the lotto? They blow it, right? So everyone that we see, anyone who's out there who's the GOAT, that they call the GOAT, whatever, they went through the process that we're talking about. They went through drawing that heart in the sand. They went through taking the time to write out journals, to start to dream, to come up with ideas, drawing out a napkin, do it somewhere. Fail. But those failures were not true failures. If you didn't keep going, then there would be a failure. And I think that's what people are missing the point. Because, and even in, where's this book that I have here? Even in this book, Think and Grow Rich, right? It talks about they were digging, and then they didn't hit it. And they stopped digging, and they sold all the equipment. And then somebody else bought it, and they said they were 3 feet away.
Yeah.
They just didn't continue. So Brandon, you were at my event, you were on the panel, and every time I've seen you speak, you're incredible. And I am so grateful that you said, you know what, why did I keep going? Because I believe. You saw greatness, and you know that greatness is in you, it lives in you. And when somebody else who was a speaker at our event gave you full credit, and you were like, what? Look at that, right? And you know, that was Coach Theo Clay, right? And he said that you are by far the best speaker he's ever seen or met. That alone, that had to be momentous for you, because it really brought it full circle, I think, for you, especially for your mentor to tell you that you've surpassed him. So stick with something when it doesn't look like it's shiny, but you keep polishing it. Listen, you can polish a rock, it's never going to become gold. It'll become shiny, but it won't become gold. You just got to know where to dig, where to shine, and where to keep going. And you're doing that. So congratulations.
Well, I think we should all have congratulations, because listen to what Brandon said. This is a major celebration. We are on his 601st speaking engagement. So there you go. We'll always remember that. So thank you for allowing us to be part of this, Brandon.
I appreciate that.
Sifu, I got to share something with you. You talked about fail and fail and fail and fail. Fail is always a wonderful thing. In my businesses, I've always encouraged my employees to make mistakes. So don't make the same one twice. But it shows that they're thinking, they're creative. And if you look at Thomas Edison, 10,000 failures before the light came on. You look at, let's see, WD-40. It was 39 failures before they got the 40th. And the word fail, F-A-I-L, really what that is, a first attempt in learning. So the more we fail, the more we learn, and the more we can conceive, believe, and achieve.
I love that you brought up two products. I want to bring up Febreze. Febreze was never meant to be what it is today. It was an accident. And the reason was because the guy that was working on it was a smoker. And he went home and his wife is like, "What is going on?" And she goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Did you stop smoking?" And he's like, "No, I've been smoking." She goes, "I don't smell cigarettes, huh?" So then it made him start thinking. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm working with this chemical. And so then he started doing more tests, and it took the smell away. And what happened with Febreze is they're like, oh, we want to start selling this as a fresh air type of thing. And they put a smell into it. But actually, at first, it had no smell to it. So people thought they were spraying water, and that's not going to do anything. And even though it took the smells away, it didn't do anything. And so what happens is people are crazy in a way. If they don't believe it, they don't believe it's possible. Right? So you have to prove it over and over and over again till somebody believes it. So they said, you know what, let's cut that out, because the company almost shelved it. Do you know how much money they make now with Febreze? So what they did is they put a scent into it so that people will go, oh, I smell it. But it's not the smell that's working. It's the actual chemical that removes the smells out of things. So if you have dogs, you can spray it in your house and you won't come in and smell a dog. You won't smell a cat. You won't smell things. So Febreze is a great, great product because it's the underlying thing that's underneath that really does the work. If you get the one that says winter fresh or this smell or that, that's just to fool you. But in reality, it's that belief that we have to know that it works. But sometimes we need to be fooled that it works. So I thought I'd share that as well.
Yeah. I love that. I didn't know about that, Febreze, or WD-40, that was the 40th attempt and success.
And if you look at many different products and companies, what they are now is not what they were meant to be. I know there's a story behind Silly Putty. I forgot that. Post-its, we're not supposed to be post-its, but it's that conception. And when you see something, like the awareness, you take the action, well, you might not get where you thought you're going to go, but you're going to get there. And if you have that realization that, hey, this is greatness, let me get different action steps to achieve what I want to achieve. So you cannot be, you can have limiting beliefs, you can have limiting environments. You just got to welcome what comes into there. And the power of the thought, the power of the brain, all of us realize that. And how fortunate we are that we have that realization and we can share that with others. So hopefully other people are inspired by what's happening right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let me share something with you guys. Take a look.
You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind-Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today.
Very powerful.
It talked about faith, right? That's belief right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and even believing when you can't see it or you don't have the evidence for it. Starting to look for the evidence, because we always have that option. We're very good. I won't speak for everybody, but I'll speak for many people are very good at finding evidence for why something won't work. And we could just shift that to looking for any piece of evidence, no matter what size, that we're on the right track and that it is possible.
Yeah, a lot of people are looking for that pill, the belief pill, that one thing that will change my life. There is that. It's you. It's called you. You're the only one that can change your life. So you have to believe in you. That's the pill. Take the red pill or the blue pill. Which one are you going to take?
You know, you talk about believe in you. Again, using an analogy of school, because at one time we all went to school. And there was a lesson that I learned in 1981. Some people weren't alive in 1981, but I learned this lesson in 1981. I was in law school. It was my first semester. And the testing process at that time was you have a question, you have a blue book, write 1 hour. But this teacher gave us the question and a piece of paper, did not give us the blue book. We still had to answer it in 1 hour. So what are you going to do? 30 minutes into the testing is when he gave us the blue book. So we were actually forced to take the time and think, analyze, outline, prepare. And then an extra half hour, that was easy. Too many people just, I got to do. A lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives, if I'm not doing, I'm not making money. But as we talked about earlier, the time to think, put yourself in an environment, and then the conceive comes very, very clear. Then you can take the action and accountability. So take the time to think. Magical things happen.
Yeah, thinking in that different environment than you're familiar with.
Yeah.
We have that choice every day, right?
I think that third thing is interesting too, to achieve, and I think you all can relate to this because probably had a chance to do different things in your life. And I was fortunate enough to have a first career that went well, but I thought there was more in me. And so my first career, I was a golf fitness trainer, and I got nominated top 50 in America at 26 years old. And I thought it was everything that I wanted. You know, it was everything that I was shooting for. And all of a sudden, I just was sitting there that night after the nomination. There was 200 people around me, and it was the loneliest feeling I ever had in my life, because everybody around me had no idea the work that I had put in the last 9 years to be able to get an accolade like that. The amount of times I went out of my comfort zone and had no idea what I was doing or what I was walking into, the internships I did for free, driving 2 hours to go meet someone to hope to get to talk to that person, just things like that. And so I took a lot of time to think, and I said, if I do go after something else, if I do go after another career, I want it to be revolved around the process, and I had this mountain in my mind. I said, if I'm going to climb another mountain, I want to climb that mountain with a massive group of people, so that when I make it to the top, I don't feel like I made it there alone. And I'm not saying my first one I made it there alone, because I didn't. I had so many people who helped out, but that's what it felt like. And so for this endeavor, I said, I want people to climb with me along the way. I want to grow with people. And that was the vision that I had. And I think that the best achievement that you can have when going after a goal is the achievement along the way. And so with Warm Heart Life, I have so many things, like as Jeff said, like it's so important to celebrate. I have so many of those moments where I feel like I achieved something, even though the goal is so far away. Like I set a 10.5-year goal, and about 4 years through that process, 4.5 years through that process. But because I've focused on not the end result as much as the little wins along the way, it's been a very fulfilling second career. And sometimes I doubt myself. I'm like, am I really trying to create the most impactful education system in the world? Is this really like, I doubt myself all the time. But then I look back at all the many achievements along the way. I'm like, wow, there's no way I can stop, and so I think when I see that word achievement, I'm like, I think if we can look at whatever we're chasing as different achievements along the way, it'll be a lot more fulfilling.
Brandon, it seems like you have a very clear vision, and you know what you want, and you are on your path to achieving that over and above it. Let me ask you a question. With that clear, specific, definitive vision, in addition to keeping it here, have you ever written it down so you can actually look at it? And what does that mean to you if you've done that?
I've definitely written it down many times. And then I think I've voiced out my vision to have 10,000 student universities across 10 of the best cities in the United States. I think I've voiced that out 1,000 to 10,000 times. So, what is it? It's giving me something to chase. It's giving me something to get other people involved with, to get other ideas, to try and figure out how to do it. It's given me a purpose, and in theme to this episode, it's given me belief in this concept that maybe this can happen someday.
So look what we've just learned from Brandon's success. He thought it. There's one sense. He wrote it down. Another thing. He saw it. Another thing. He speaks it. So the more that you can do to utilize the senses and things that you have in your own body, as Sifu says, look at that power. And look where you are today. You're not done. You got plenty of stuff in the future for you. Right, Brandon?
Yeah, well, I'll try and make this story really quick, but a funny story to writing it down. So this was in 2021 in July. I went to a conference. It was called the 10X Exit, and it talked about exiting your business. So I said, if I'm going to build another business and they're making me look at the end of it, I'm going to put $1 billion next to that. So I broke down $1 billion that day on a piece of paper. And then later that night, I was at dinner with a girl I had met the day before, and I wrote down the whole $1 billion business plan on a napkin. And for the most part, obviously some things have changed along the way, but for the most part, that plan is still where the focus has been the last 4.5 years. So, but writing it down, yeah, that was a big part of the original vision.
Yeah, and keeping your focus there. That's what I heard you say. That's important too.
Yeah.
I want to share something that I heard a couple of times from Brandon, and he said that he's done so many speaking engagement, he's done so many things for free. But we don't see the reality of what free really means. Free, when he did something for someone else or an event or something like that, it was an investment. He may not have gotten paid, but it was an investment on him. So we all think of schooling, and we have to pay for schooling, and schooling is crazy amounts. Depends on the Ivy League or what school you go to. Jeff, when you went to become a lawyer, you paid for schooling. But we forget that in life, we're still paying for things. And even though we say, oh, we're doing it for free, we're doing it pro bono, we're doing it that, but that just keeps elevating us every single time we do something for free. And even sometimes when we have to go pay to do something, we pay. Listen, you pay to get on an airplane unless you have miles, but guess what? You had to collect those miles from paying it before. There's nothing free in life, but if we stop taking the word free and turn it into investment, we gain so much more. And sometimes, even for speakers who say, "Oh, I don't want to pay. I'm a speaker," but guess what? You've had to pay all along. You had to pay with your time to even learn, to get in front of the mirror, to get a recording of you speaking. So everything is an investment. It's how you look at life. Life is an investment, and it's a worth living investment. But a lot of people don't realize that when we're helping somebody, we're helping us. We are the beneficiary of what we do for others. But if we don't see that, it's not going to help us. We're guided in the wrong direction. So we need to start looking at, how can I benefit by helping others? And don't look at it just, how can I get something out of it? How will they get something out of it? What's my legacy? What am I leaving 5 generations, 10 generations after I'm gone? Will my name even come up? Did I make an impact? And if I say, oh, it's going to cost me to go to this event, it's going to cost me to go there, I got to go to Brandon's event. Oh man, I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money. I got to go to Sifu's, but I don't know. I got to go to see Jeff. I got to go with Nikki to her event. If I look at it as a cost, not as an investment, I'm missing the point. So to achieve, which is the word we're on now, you have to invest. Invest in your time, invest in your finances, and invest in the people that you will impact. To achieve, you have to invest.
Sifu, I love the words that you use in investment. I'm going to put Nikki on the spot because we've had this conversation. What do I like about the word free?
What do you like about it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, you threw me. Like, I wouldn't say that you like the word free. I know that what we talked about, I was saying you don't like the word. And I can remember us having a conversation where every time I get on a call, I say, with a potential client, I would say, thank you for your time. And then you would reframe it for me and say, thanks for investing time together. Because time is an investment. It's one of the things we don't get back. We could get our money back. We could make more money, but we don't get back time. Right?
And Nikki is right. I don't like the word free. With all due respect, Sifu, if you get something for free, theoretically, it has no value. Now, the same context, You can give something complimentary that has a value of. When Brandon speaks, it's a complimentary presentation with a value of. So you think instead of the word free as complimentary, you're assigning a value to that. And we never want to spend our time. We want to invest our time. So simple words to change that concept is so much more powerful. Thank you for bringing that, Sifu.
Absolutely. And I agree, because I don't freely give away my time. Ever. Every second counts. Every second counts. And if I don't value it, my own time, nobody else will either.
Oh, yeah.
And how many seconds do we have every day?
Too many.
Well, you know, again, you've heard this. If you can take a concept and put money to that concept, people understand it. For example, if I gave each of you $86,400 today, with the caveat you have to spend it or invest it. And if you don't, you lose it. What are you going to do?
Do some research.
But you know something, I'll go one step further. If you don't do it today, tomorrow, I'll give you another $86,400. Because we have 86,400 seconds in every day. Use it or lose it. Another way of looking at
it. Yeah, I love that.
How do we lose it again?
Yeah.
How do we lose it? Scrolling, wasting the time. Listen, technology has made it so we can use our time wisely, but we don't. We all have a smartphone in our purse or our pocket or on our desk or in our car, but we don't use it for the word it's meant, smart. We are dumb with our phones. So how many people out there, raise your hand if you have a dumb phone? Nobody wants to say I have a dumb phone. Everybody wants to say I have a smartphone because it's so smart. But meanwhile, we're dumb how we use it. So my phone is a tool that I use. And I think it was Tony Robbins who recently said, if everybody since the iPhone came out took that money, instead of buying an iPhone, if they invested it, and I think it was $28,000 or something like that, or $22,000. Right now, they would be sitting, they invested it back into Apple, they would be sitting on $328 million.
Wow.
So before you go buy your next smartphone, which mine, oh, somebody's calling me. Mine, and I'm hanging up on them because I don't know who they are. Mine is not the newest one. Mine is a 10. Did you hear that?
So does mine. Oh, no, it's a 12. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're ahead of me.
So I'm still behind.
Thing, right? It still works. It's still a tool. Do I have to buy the most beautiful tool, or do I have to have the tool that works?
Yeah.
I work in a wood. Listen. I have so many saws in my wood shop. I have one that's been in a box. It's like $600-700. It's still in a box because I have another one, and the reason I got it is because I was having a project where I needed it, and then they canceled on me. But I still have that tool there. Now, did I say let me go return it? I said no. There's going to be another project that's going to come up, but I have the tools, and I don't have to get the newest tool because it's shinier, it's cleaner, it's newer. So what tools do we have so we can achieve every day? If you walk into my wood shop and you don't know anything about how to cut wood, how to put it together, all these, you're looking at a bunch of junk. But if you walk into my wood shop and you go, oh my God, these are incredible tools. I have tons and tons of tools. But if you don't know how to use them, they're useless. So what tools do you have that you may need to sharpen. Quick story. Two brothers are cutting wood. One takes a lunch break every day and he cuts the same amount of wood that the other one didn't take a lunch break and they cut the same amount of wood. Like, why are you be able to cut as many trees as I am, yet you take a whole hour and do nothing? You take a lunch break. But meanwhile, you can cut as many trees as I'm cutting. He goes, you think I take a lunch break? I go sharpen my axe. And actually, if you notice, I didn't cut as many as you. I cut more than you. Because my axe is sharpened. So sharpen your tools, people, so you can use them wisely. Brandon can tell you that. You can't speak on a stage unless you sharpen the tool. Achieve, sharpen.
Well, I just want to thank you all for investing this hour on here. It's been a pleasure learning from you three and hearing different perspectives. And I can't wait to continue to see where you all go with your endeavors.
We are wrapping it up because I have another show I got to run to. So 45 seconds, tell us how somebody, or what can somebody expect when they come see you? So Brandon, we'll go with you first.
Yeah, so I teach public speaking, and so I help entrepreneurs turn their story into a revenue stream, even if they're just getting started. And I do that through one-on-one coaching and then speaker masterminds. And we do the speaker masterminds all over the country, and we'll have about 9 or 10 of them, the public ones this year.
Awesome. And I got to tell you, the man is incredible. I was at his last one in Pennsylvania. Great stuff. Great stuff. Thank you. Jeff, you're up, my friend.
Thank you, Sifu. Again, this truly has been a wonderful investment in my time. I'm going to get a lot of rewards from investing time this morning. And look, everyone loves what they do. They have a certain high impact, high income. And that's what we need to do all the time. But a lot of time people are frustrated how it's done, frustrated with the business of business. And the business I'm in right now is my 6th business, including law practice on the East Coast and the West Coast. In 1998, someone says, Jeff, you ever hear of this thing called e-commerce? And I built that up. So I work with people who actually have to design their lives and the operations, the policy, the procedures, how to build that business to fulfill your vision. And the name of the business, Conceive, Believe, Achieve.
Love it. Love it. Nikki, everybody needs to connect with these two gentlemen. They're incredible. Nikki, you're up.
I'm up. Thank you, Sifu. So I'm Nikki Gangemi, and you can connect with me at nikkigangemi.com. And if you are struggling to achieve a goal that you've been working towards for a long time, reach out to me, because I've curated an experience with 2 other fabulous, powerful women, Beyond Limits, and I'd love to share about it with you. And I'll turn it over to Sifu.
I'm easy to find. SifuRafael.com. It can't get easier than that. So connect with me. I have so many different stages. I have a stage coming up in Tampa. I have stages in Ireland. I have another one in Chicago coming up. I have another one in Atlanta. We're creating stages for speakers, for people to come and learn and become who you're meant to be. So reach out. Let's chat. God bless you, everybody. Thank you. Talk soon.